Hey you guys, it's Amy Gretchen. Welcome back to another Project Life process video. In this video, I'm working on week 14 from 2017. So the first thing that I'm gonna do is go through all of my photos. So I'm trimming up the ones that are 3x4, and then I'm looking through my 4x6s and trying to decide where I want them to go, what spots I want them to go into. So right now, one of the things that I'm thinking about is I have 3 blossom photos and I definitely want to split that up. Also, I have a lot of blue. So I'm taking those 2 things into consideration when I'm figuring out where I want them to go. This week in particular, I did not have a lot of photos to choose from. You can see that all these photos I took with my large Canon. I have a Canon 5D Mark II that I use. And I literally took like maybe 3 photos with my phone, which is sort of unprecedented. But this was a hard week for me. I do suffer from depression, and it's something I have to manage on a daily basis. Sometimes it's a lot easier, and days are easy, and it's not something I really think about. But then there are those weeks that are difficult, and I do have to manage it. And this was one of those harder weeks. And I don't know if it's because, we had a vacation the week before and I was coming off of that or what it was. But one of the things that I do when I'm having a tough time is I take photos of stuff. So what I love to do is I love to go outside and I love to go and get lost in the world. That's one of the things that makes me happy, and that's one of the things that takes my mind off, because a lot of things are going through my head, so it really helps me focus on what's going on through my lens. But conversely, which is really strange, I don't take a lot of everyday photos. So it's kind of this weird balance of, I have a lot more photos of the blossoms because that's one of the things that I was focused on this week, but I do definitely have less photos of everyday life. So I definitely did not have a lot to choose from, but that's okay. We work with what we've got. And if I didn't have more photos, I probably would have done more stories. There's a lot that I could write up about what was going on with me this week, or I could add some more filler cards. So it just kind of depends on what's going on and how much you want to share. And that's definitely a personal thing that you have to figure out from, week to week. All right, so getting back to the layout, you saw that I looked through a whole bunch of cards. So I got the Studio Calico kit, the April kit, in the mail the week I was working on it, which is awesome. And I went through and I looked through the cards and pulled out some ones that I thought I might use. I also grabbed the April word. If you've seen my other videos, you've noticed that I've definitely been using that each month, and I've loved being able to use that each month. And then what I'm working on right now is I grabbed over these stamps from Kelly Purkey, and I apologize. I am not sure who to give credit to. I'm still looking on Instagram and trying to figure out where I got this idea from, putting yes, yes, yes. I know that the stamps that they used were from Kelly Winnell, and stamps that I would love to get my hands on. But these were the stamps that I had, and so these are the ones that I decided to use. I will keep looking, and I will put their link in the description below if I can find it. But if not, and you're watching this, I apologize. I think your idea was awesome, and I loved being able to use it this week. So I just put yes, 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 and then I wrote a little bit of journaling, just 3 things that was going on this week. Like one of them was my 2 younger kids reached their goals for tumbling, which was awesome. And so of course, we make new goals and we move forward, but I definitely wanted to highlight that for them. So definitely one of the things that I wanted to do this week, and I had kind of thought about it before, but I wasn't exactly sure which stamps I wanted to use, was I wanted to do some stamping. Felt like I hadn't really done that in a while, just right onto the photo. And so I saw this stamp set from Studio Calico, and I grabbed it over and decided to use it. This was actually a stamp set that came with their first stamp kit. So I decided to try it out. I have since stopped that subscription, but I really love this stamp set. I used it in December daily, and I thought it was really versatile. So the stamps that I'm using are the ones that say there's some words that say photo and moment and story, and that's what I decided to use this time. And then there's some cursive that go along with it where it says love this and favorite and of the day. I think what I'm putting down there right now is story of the day. And then the other one I used was favorite moment. And then I'm going to be moving on to love this photo. So I think I mixed it up. I actually wanted to do love this story and photo of the day, but it's totally fine. It all works together. They're interchangeable. And that's one of the things that I thought was so great about this stamp set. So you'll see that I'm going to be using this stamp set again in just a minute. But right now I'm just using this white unicorn ink and stamping right onto the photos. This ink works really great on top of these photos. I printed them with the Epson PictureMate PM400 printer. You can find a link to that printer in the description below if you are interested in that. So now I'm doing a little bit of space management and I'm adding the photos right into the pockets, at least the ones that I know where they're going to go. It just really helps to clean things up and keep everything tidy so there's not so many moving pieces on my desk. So now I'm moving on to my title card. So this April word came from, like I said, the Studio Calico kit. I've loved being able to use these words as a way to transition from month to month. I'm using the Stamp Runner to adhere that. Now I have been told that the Stamp Runner, this is by Tombow, is no longer available, which is such a bummer. I've really loved having that. So I'm definitely looking for a replacement there. Then I just went ahead and I'm adding the dates right on the card with the rolling date stamp. And then I'm just going to slip that card in there and then that is complete. So what I'm going to do right now is and I have this debate, I think every time that I work on a spread is I'm just trying to solidify the exact stories that I want to tell. So what I do in this case is I definitely consult my notes and what I wrote down during the week. But I'm also thinking about the stories that I told the weeks before. And, just so I'm not telling the same story over and over again, but that I'm trying to mix it up so that I'm getting a really good mix of what's going on in our life from week to week. So as I'm debating what stories I want to tell, I'm looking at the cards that I've already pulled out and I'm thinking about what embellishments I want to use. And of course, one of the things that I always go to is the chipboards. I really love the chipboards and I'm not even sure why. Maybe it's because I think it's very clean and very simple, and that's definitely my aesthetic. So I tend to always lean towards that. So while I'm thinking about what more stories I want to tell and how I want to further embellish this layout, I've decided to work on that card. Now, one thing that I thought was so interesting about this week in particular is you can see I've got all these beautiful blossom photos and it looks very springy. And then all of a sudden over the weekend, we had this huge rainstorm that turned into a snowstorm. And so I thought that that was definitely worth documenting because it came out of nowhere, except for probably my daughter Megan, who watches the weather very closely. She may have been the only one to know that was coming. But what I decided to do was I grabbed over this same stamp set that I used before, and I grabbed over the number 8 because it happened on Saturday. Well, it happened, I guess, on Saturday night over to Sunday. So that was April 8th. And so I'm writing down the journaling right now. And then I grabbed what you can't see in the stamp set is there's a bunch of months. There's other things there as well. But I grabbed over the April and I wanted to put that in the middle of the 8. So it said April 8. But because I wanted to add a different color, and I want to add color also in the middle of the yeses that I did on the other card. And so I decided to wait to put the April and figure out what color I want to also, coordinate with this layout. So I'm going to do that in just a minute. So again, I'm at this point where I'm coming back and looking at my journaling. That today's high and today low, that came from Allie Edwards. I think it came from one of her day in the life kits. I'm not entirely certain. But I am excited to be able to use that. I wish I had more of those cards digitally that I could print out, because I really like the ability to talk about, you know, the highs of the week and the lows of the week. Of course, one of the lows for me, that it was just a tough week emotionally for me. So that's one of the things that I wrote down. And then I think one of the highs was talking about my gratitude for being able to take photos. I think I did that a lot this go around, because it was a tough week. Is a lot of my journaling reflecting gratitude, because I definitely feel grateful after the end of a hard week to be able to look back and to be able to see the good pieces and the joys. So I've grabbed over the chipboard set that came with the April kit, and I've decided, you know, I pulled out a couple of those. I don't know why it is so hard for me to use those chipboard pieces. I think I love them so much I want to hoard them. But because I love them so much, I remind myself to use them. But the one that I did pull out says magic on it. And then that black one that I just grabbed there says chapter by chapter, which I thought it went really great on the card that says one day at a time. So that one day at a time card also I really loved on this spread, because I thought it tied together the blossoms and the other flowers on the other side. And because there was so much blue, that was such a bold color, I thought that it would work really well on this spread. So now I'm moving on to some accents. So I can't remember if this stamp set is called Miranda or Dalton, one or the other, but it coordinates with the outline Yes stamps that I use from Kelly Purkey. And then I grabbed over some Studio Calico inks. The inks that I'm looking at are Mint Hint and the Glass Slipper. I went ahead and used the Glass Slipper. I thought that it worked a little bit better. The Mint Hint, which I really like, was a little bit more green, and I didn't want that much green. I wanted to have more of a blue tone, so I went with the Glass Slipper. Unfortunately, it's really hard to see on the video, and it is pretty light. I can see it obviously with my naked eye, but it's definitely hard to see on the video. If I could have, I probably would have double stamped it, just because, and you can see that I do double stamp it there on the April, just because I wanted it to be a little bit darker there. So now just a couple more journaling cards that I'm going to go through. And like I said, this card in particular, I really loved. I've been wanting to use this, came from Ali Edwards, and I love the black. I love that there was some definite black there, and then there's black in the 8, and there's black in the Yes, and then there's black in that chipboard. I thought that really rounded out this layout. So that's one of the reasons why I chose it. And again, that journaling really was a reflection of gratitude. The last card that I did came from Ali Edwards' Bond kit, and just added some journaling there. Oh no, then I guess I forgot. I've got one more journaling card to do. This one said magic on there, and it definitely reflects where my head was, and just being grateful for the light and the joy that you can see, you know, after a difficult week. So I kind of already mentioned that. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is adhere that chipboard, and then I'm going to call this layout done. You guys, thank you so much for being here with me. I really hope you were able to find some inspiration in this layout. It's definitely why I take the time to share it with you. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, I hope you will do so you will get updates. And you guys, we will catch you in the next video. Bye.